Diagnosis. The prisoner case history is taken and his personality is studied through examination and observations. The RDC's staff determine the nature and extent of the person's criminality and the extent to which he may be rehabilitated. So, ibig sabihin po, kailangan muna nating suriin, obserbahan ang ugali ng isang taong nakagawa ng krimen bago bigyan ng lunas. Kailangan malaman kung ano ang dahilan kung bakit niya ito nagawa. Dahil merong mga dahilan ng isang tao kung bakit nila nagagawa ang isang krimen. Katulad na lamang ng halimbawa kapag lasing ang isang tao, hindi natin nakokontrol ang sarili natin at hindi rin natin naiiwasan na makagawa ng isang krimen. Treatment planning. This is the formulation of the tentative treatment program based to the needs and interests of an individual prisoner based on the findings of the RDC staff. So, kailangan pagplanuhan o pag-isipan ng mabuti kung anong gagawing hakbang upang malapatan ng pansamantalang gamot upang mas mapabilis o mas mapigilan ang pagpapatuloy ng mga maling ginagawa ng isang priso. Execution of treatment program. This is in the application of the treatment program and policies by the classification committee. So, ang ibig sabihin po nito, kailangan gumawa o magpatupad ng treatment program upang mas mapadali o maiwasan at maprotektahan ang kalusugan ng isang priso. Kahit na sila ay gumawa ng masama, kailangan pa rin siguraduhin ang kaligtasan at kalusugan ng isang tao. Reclassification. The treatment program is kept current with the inmates' changing needs and with new analysis based on any information not available at the time of the initial classification committee meeting of the inmate's case, which continues from the time of the first classification until the inmate is released. So, kailangan itong gawin upang mas masigurado ang ugali o pangangatawan ng isang inmates upang sa paglabas nito ay hindi na o maiwasan ang paggawa ng ikasasama niya. Purposes of classification. First, to separate prisoner whom by reason of their criminal record or bad character are likely to exercise a bad influence on other prisoner. Kailangang pagbuko din ang mga prisoner dahil may kanya-kanya itong dahilan kung bakit nila ito nagawa. At upang maiwasan na maimpluwensyahan ng ibang priso ang kanyang isipan upang makagawa ng mas maling desisyon sa buhay. Second, to separate prisoner who by the gravity of their offenses have been sentenced to longer period of imprisonment and therefore require more secure prison facilities. Kailangang iwalay ang mga bilanggo na may mas matagal na sentensya kaysa sa maiksing sentensya upang hindi na maimpluwensyahan ang isang bilanggo na gumawa pa ng krimen na alam niyang makakasama sa kanya at kailangang mas higit na bantayan ang may maiksing sentensya upang hindi na ito makagawa ng maling bagay at hindi na maimpluwensyahan ang kanyang isipan ng ibang prisoner na gumawa na alam niya ikasasama niya. And last, to divide the prisoner into classes in order to facilitate their rehabilitative treatment. Kailangang ihiwalay o paghiwalayin ang mga bilanggo ayon sa kanilang nagawa upang hindi na mahirapan ang bilanggo na kailangan ng mas mahabang uri ng paggamot upang mabilis itong makarecover at makapag-isip ng tama.
Good day everyone, I am Quezon Christine May and I will be discussing about reception and diagnostic center professional staff. First, the psychiatrist. He analyzes and make a report on the prisoner's personality and emotional makeup. He also identifies offenders who need psychiatric attention and treatment. Itong psychiatrist naman is ang trabaho ay upang matulungan ang mga inmates or prisoners sa loob ng isang kulungan na may sakit sa pag-iisip or mentally damaged and emotional problem. Tinutulungan nila itong gumaling para maging maayos ang isang bilanggo sa loob ng kulungan. Next is psychologist. Psychology is concerned with measuring and evaluating an individual's intellectual capability and his or her ability to cope and adjust in society. With the advent of the first classification in program in New Jersey in 1918, psychologists became a dominant force in classification process. Ito namang psychologist sila are trained mental professional na tumutulong sa isang inmate sa isang kulungan para mapagaling ang kanilang mga sakit sa pag-iisip. Sila din ang gumagawa ng lahat ng pangangailangan ng isang inmates na may sakit sa pag-iisip para malunas ang kanilang nararamdamang sakit. Next is sociologists. Sociologists have been latecomers into correctional treatment programs. They are especially helpful in identifying and developing the rules and structures of the prison subcultures and administrative personnel. Ito namang sociologist is sila ang nag-o-observe sa isang inmates or inaaral nila kung anong behavior ang isang bilanggo sa loob ng isang kulungan. Halimbawa, may sakit yung isang inmates tapos nakasama siya or kasama sa mga inmates na walang sakit sa pag-iisip. Ang gagawing action ng mga sociologist is ihihiwalay nila ito para mapagamot at matulungan ang isang inmates at i-recommend sa isang psychiatrist. Next is social worker. Social worker become particularly important in the spectrum of corrections when it began to emphasize rehabilitation. The casework is essential in the pre-sentence and investigation phase, and many probation officers and parole officers receive their training in social work on inside the walls. Ito namang social worker is tinutulungan nilang maging maayos ang buhay ng isang bilanggo sa loob ng isang kulungan. Sila ang nagiging gabay or tumutulong para maging maayos ang pakikitungo ng isang prison sa loob ng kulungan. Kasama na dito yung mga nakakatanggap ng parole. Sila yung mga taong handang magbago kahit na sila ay nasa kulungan pa. Next is educational counselor. Conduct orientation classes and general education in order to change the inmates' attitudes towards education. He recommends on the educational program of the prisoners. Ito namang educational counselor is ang tinutukoy nila dito is sila ay nagkakandak ng klase para matulungan at mabago ang isang pag-uugali ng isang inmate sa loob ng kulungan. Malaki rin ang tulong na naibibigay nila lalo na sa mga bilanggong walang pinag-aralan at walang alam dahil hindi sila nakapag-aral sa sobrang hirap nung sila ay nasa labas pa ng kulungan. Next is vocational counselor. Test the prisoner in order to determine his general and special ability to interest and skills. He recommends for the type of vocational training of the prisoner. Ito namang vocational counselor is inaalam naman nila ang kakayahan o kaalaman ng isang inmates para matrain nila ito at mas lalong matulungan o mabigyan ng pagkakataon na gumaling sa kanilang mga kakayahan. Next is medical officers. Conduct a complete physical examination on the inmates and correlates the prisoner's previous health history with the present findings and recommends for the medical treatment of the prisoners. Ito namang medical officer is sila ang nagkakandak ng physical examination sa isang inmates para malaman kung may sakit ito wala at kung meron man ay matutulungan nila ito napapagamot at may recommend sa mga psychiatrist para gumaling sila sa kanilang mga kanilang sakit. Next is chaplain. Encourage the prisoner to participate in religious worship. He ensures that the spiritual life of the inmates is exercised properly according to one's conscience. Ito namang chaplain is sila ang tumutulong sa inmates para mapalapit ito sa Diyos. At ini-encourage nila lalo na yung mga inmates na wala nang kinikilalang Diyos. Yun ang binibigyan nila ng halaga na mapalapit ang mga inmates sa mga wala nang kinikilalang Diyos. Sila din ang gabay para tulungan ang isang bilanggo para mapalapit at magbalik loob sa Diyos. The last one is custodial officer. The chief of the custodial force observes the prisoner's behavior and interaction to various situations and recommends on transfer and type of custody of the inmate. Ito namang custodial officer is sila yung tagapangalaga sa loob ng kulungan ng mga bilanggo. Sila yung nagiging tagabantay or nag-o-observe sa behavior ng bawat nakakulong sa isang kulungan. Halimbawa, may isang inmates na gugulo or isang bilanggo na hindi siya buwang dun sa kulungan na yun at hindi siya nabibilang kasama ng ibang inmates dahil meron nga siyang sakit sa pag-iisip, ay maaari siyang i-transfer or dalhin sa ibang kulungan. At kung may sakit man siya ay maaari siyang ipagamot or i-consult sa psychiatrist.
Hello, my topic is Philippine Prison System. Prison, an institution for the imprisonment of person convicted by penal judgment and with a penalty of more than 3 years. So ano nga ba yung prison? Isa itong institution, dito napupunta yung mga persons convicted or yung mga persons na may final judgment. Then with a penalty of more than 3 years. So sila yung nakakakomit ng mga crime na robbery, na rape, mga ganon. Then, next is prison. Bail sitting. Refers to an penal establishment under the control of the Bureau of Correction and shall include the New Bilibid Prison, the Correctional Institution for Women, syempre yun yung Mandaluyong, the Leyte Regional Prison and Davao, San Ramon, Sablayan, and Iwahig Prison and Penal Farms. So, ito naman yung ibang mga prison or mga penal establishment. Next is competent authority. Shall refer to the Supreme Court, CA, RTC, MTC, MCTC, Sandigang Bayan, Military Courts, House of Representatives, Senate, Commission on Elections, Bureau of Immigration, and the Board of Pardon and Parole. So, competent authority, sila lang yung mga authority na mag-ano dito sa mga to, sa mga courts, sa RTC, MTC, MCTC, Sandigang Bayan, sila lang may authority. Next is inmate, then detainee. Inmate refers to a national prisoner or one sentenced by a court to serve a maximum imprisonment of more than 3 years or to fine or more than 1,000 pesos. So, inmate, pag sinabi nating inmate, sila yung mga offender na nasentensya na or nahatulan na ng court. So, detainee, ito naman yung mga hindi pa napapatunayan o nahatulan. Nakakulong sila habang pending pa yung preliminary investigation. Next is death convict. Refers to an inmate whose death penalty imposed by a regional trial court is affirmed by the Supreme Court and bank. Ito naman po yung isang lugar sa isang kulungan kung saan yung mga inmate o bilanggo ay naghihintay ng pagbitay pagkatapos mahatulan ng isang malaking krimen at sinentensyahan o hinatulan ng kamatayan tulad ng bitay o selya elektrika. Sila po yun. Carpeta refers to the institutional record of an inmate which consists of his mitimus commitment order, the prosecutor's information, and the decision of the trial court including the appellate court. So, ano nga ba yung carpeta? Ito is yung record of an inmate. So, dito nakalagay yung mga information and the decision ng trial court if may next hearing pa, ganun. Then, prison record refers to information concerning an inmate's personal circumstances, the offense he committed, the sentence imposed, the criminal case number, and the trial and appellate courts, the date he commenced, served based of his sentence, the date he was received for confinement, the date of expiration of his sentence, the number of previous conviction, if any, and his behavior or conduct while in prison. So, yun yung prison record na nga yun. Ito naman yung mga inmate personal circumstances. Yung, dito naman nakalagay yung mga offense niya na commit, like, nakakommit siya ng robbery, ng rape, ng murder, ng homicide, ganun. Kung kailan yung sentence na na-impose, yung mga criminal case number, mga kung yung mga date na na-receive niya yung confinement, date ng expiration of his sentence, the number of previous conviction, and dito rin yung behavior or conduct while in prison, yung mga magagandang behavior niya, nakalagay din dito sa prison record. So, Bureau of Correction have the general supervision and control of national, provincial prisons and all penal settlements and is charged with the safekeeping of all prisoners confined therein. So, Bureau of Correction, sila yung namamahala or nagsusupervise at nagko-control dun sa mga prisons. Sila yung namamahala para sa safekeeping ng lahat ng prisons na dun. Kung saan nakalagay yung mga prisons, sila yung namamahala dun. Sila may general supervision. So, Bilibid Prison, built on 1847, it became the central confinement for a Filipino offenders by virtue of the royal decree of the Spanish Crown. So, Bilibid Prison, ito na nga yung central confinement ng mga Filipino offenders, yung mga nakakakomit ng krimen or lumalabag sa batas. Next is 1936. City of Manila exchanged its Muntinlupa property composed of 552 hectares piece of land with the Bureau of Prison lot in Manila, and Bilibid Prison is now being used by the Manila City Government as Manila City Jail. So, ito na nga po yun. Noong 1936 daw, is yung Manila naging in-exchange siya, naging Muntinlupa property na mayroong 552 hectares na lupa. Then, pinamumunuan ito ng Bureau of Prisons. Then, yung Bilibid Prison is now being used by the Manila City Government as Manila City Jail. Then, yung na-exchange na ginagamit na siya ngayon, naging Manila City Jail na siya. Then, EO 929, otherwise known as Revised Administrative Code of 1987. Revised Administrative Code of 1987, the prison law in the Philippines. It was renamed the Bureau of Prison to Bureau of Correction. Dati, ang tawag dito is Revised Administrative Code of 1987. So, na-rename siya ng Bureau of Prison to Bureau of Correction. Ngayon is Bureau of Correction na. Then, yung the New Bilibid Prison, located in the Muntinlupa City. Thank you.
Different penal colonies in the Philippines. San Ramon Prison and Penal Farm, founded by Captain Ramon Blanco, the Spanish Royal Army. It was established for the confinement of Filipino political offenders, located in Zamboanga del Sur. It has an area of 1,246 hectares. It was established on August 21, 1869. This penal farm is designed to promote agro-industrial activities, and its principal products are corn, rice, copra, coffee, and livestock. Iwahig Penal Colony and Farm, founded by Governor who led the first contingent of prisoners. It was used originally for the confinement of incorrigibles and intractable prisoners. In 1905, it was converted for the confinement of well-behaved intractable prisoners. Recognition Act 1407. It has an land total area of 36 hectares established on November 16, 1904. Four sub-colonies of Iwahig Penal Colony and Farm. Nagawan Sub-Colony, Montebol Sub-Colony, Santa Lucia Sub-Colony, Central Sub-Colony. Davao and Penal Colony and Farm, January 21, 1932. Founded by General Paulino Santos. Created by virtue of Act 3732 and Proclamation 413 Series of 1931. Mostly devoted to abaca and banana plantation. In 1942, it was used as concentration camp for American prisoner of war. The main source of income of the Bureau of Correction consists of 18 hectares. Sablayan Penal Colony and Farm, founded on September 27, 1954, by virtue of Proclamation Number 72, dated September 27, 1954.
It consists 16,000 hectares in Sablayan, Occidental Mindoro. Iloilo Penal Colony and Farm, Iloilo Province. Leyte Regional Prison, Abuyog, Leyte. Established on January 16, 1973 during the martial law with the aim of regionalizing prison in the country. Correctional Institution for Women, CIW, found in Mandaluyong City. It was established in 1931 by virtue of Act 3579 passed on November 27, 1929. It consists of 18 hectares. Fort Santiago in Manila, the oldest prison in the Philippines. Who is prisoner? A prisoner is an offender who is convicted by final judgment by a court or is a person who is committed by the court or competent authority to be confined in a jail prison. Sino ba ang prisoner? Ang prisoner, ito yung mga offender na nagkasala na meron na silang mga final judgment. A prisoner is a person committed to jail or prison by competent authority for any of the following reasons. Serve a sentence after conviction, trial, investigation. A detainee on the other hand is a person accused before a court or competent authority who is temporarily confined in a jail or prison while undergoing or awaiting investigation, trial or final judgment. Ang detainee, sila yung mga offender na nakakommit ng crime na hindi pa sila nabibigyan ng final judgment. Ongoing pa lang ang kanilang kaso. Classification of prisoner, sentenced prisoner, those who are convicted by final judgment and under the jurisdiction of penal institution. Ang sentenced prisoner, sila yung mga na-convict na with the final judgment. Detention prisoner, those who are detained for the violation of law and have not yet convicted. Those who are on safekeeping. Classification of sentenced prisoner, insular or national prisoner, sentenced to more than 3 years or a fine of more than 1,000 of both. City prisoner, sentenced to less than 3 years of a fine or less than 1,000 of both. Provincial prisoner, 6 months and 1 day to 3 years or a fine or not more than 1,000 of both. Municipal prisoner, not more than 6 months. Classification of prisoner, as to security risk. May 3 classification ang ating mga prisoner. Una, maximum, minimum, at medium. Maximum security. This shall include highly dangerous or high security risk as determined by the classification board who required a high degree of control and supervision. Sa maximum security is nandito na yung mga tao na merong malalaking kasalanan, na merong to those sentenced to death, those whose minimum sentence is 20 years imprisonment. Remand inmates or detainees whose sentence is 20 years and above, those whose sentence is under review by the SC. Those with pending cases, recidivists, habitual delinquents, and escapes. Those confined at the RDC. Those under disciplinary punishment or safekeeping. Those who are criminally insane or with several personality disorder or emotional disorder. Medium security. These shall include those who cannot be trusted in less secured areas and those whose conduct or behavior required minimum supervision. Dito sa medium security prisoner, meron silang mga prisoner na minimum sentence is less than 20 years imprisonment. Remand inmates or detainees whose sentence are below 20 years. First offender sentence to life imprisonment. Minimum security. This shall include those who can be reasonably trusted to serve this sentence under less restricted condition. Who are minimum security prisoner? Those with severe physical handicap as certified by the Chief Medical Officer of the prison. Those who are 65 years of age and above, without pending case and whose conviction are not on appeal. Color of uniforms of inmates as to security classification. Sa maximum security is meron silang Color ng uniform, orange. Sa medium security is blue. Minimum security is brown. Detainee, gray.